Hey, what's going on, everybody? Once again, it's Gains. Today, we want to talk about Gylt on Stadia. And to be upfront, it's a game that I really didn't ever see myself playing. But due to the certain circumstances on Stadia, there's not a ton of games for us to play. Everyone who has Stadia can pretty much acknowledge that. Granted, it's a new service, so it is what it is. Just growing pains. But there isn't like a huge catalog for us to play. So I myself is still a Stadia Pro subscriber, so we still get the 2 free games every month. And Guilt was one of the free games a couple months back, I believe. So I decided, you know what? Why don't I give Guilt a shot? And like I said, the real reason I played it was just because I got it for free. If I didn't get it for free, I can honestly say I probably would have never purchased it, and I never would have played it. And now looking back on that, I can say that would have sucked because Guilt turned out to be a really good game, and I did not see that coming. Honestly, I felt like it was going to be, I guess, more of a kid's game based on the way it's perceived at the beginning, especially the art style and like the cover, things like that. Obviously, you're a young girl and you're looking for your lost cousin. But I didn't see what the game had in store for me. And I'm kind of happy that, they gave it to us for free because that actually allowed me to get a chance to play the game and actually experience it. Because like I said, to be honest with you, I probably would have never purchased it and I would have missed out on a really great game. So with that being said, let's talk about a little bit about what Guilt has to offer.
So the story for Gylt begins with our protagonist Sally, who is hanging up missing persons posters throughout the town looking for her still lost cousin Emily. As she's doing this, a group of kids from her school start to harass her and chase her on her bike, causing her to lose her balance and wreck and break the bike. Now, since she doesn't have her bike, she decides she's going to take the cable car home. But when she arrives to the cable car, an old man working at the cable car station tells her she needs a ticket in order to take the cable car. Just her luck, when she goes to the ticket machine, there's a ticket just hanging there waiting for her to take it. She takes the ticket, gives it to the old man, and thinks the cable car will be taking her home. But now she turns up in a altered dimension version of her town that also includes a horror-filled version of her school where everything has been turned upside down and monsters just roam the hallways. But she does notice that her lost cousin Emily seems to be trapped in this school, and now she has to navigate these horror-filled hallways in order to save her long-lost cousin. But as you progress further in the game, you start to understand fully what's going on in this mysterious town and the events that led up to Emily going missing in the first place, in a story that really deals with a lot of real-life topics and issues that can hit close to home. As for gameplay, Gylt is slower paced, mostly to drive home the horror aspect, which it does a good job of doing, keeping gameplay tense. So there's a lot of stealth in this game, a lot of sneaking around and using your environment to conceal yourself from your enemies, because this is one of those games where you're not really equipped to take on a lot of enemies at once, and your best course of action is actually not to engage in any action at all if need be. So that does help with the whole narrative of keeping it tense. Also, you'll find yourself doing various puzzles throughout the game. These puzzles aren't overly difficult, and they pull a lot from games like Unported or Tomb Raider, to where they are difficult enough that they'll make you think, but they're not overly difficult to where they'll just frustrate you to no end, and they're not too easy to where they feel like they shouldn't have been included in the first place. Now for visuals, there's nothing about this game that's going to reach out and grab you. It's not overly impressive in the visuals category, to be honest. Now, in their defense, they could say that, oh, well, we were playing on the drab and dreary and depressive feel of the town, and that's why we wanted kind of that feel visually. That's a great out. That could be what they were going for. I don't know. But to the average person, this is not going to be an impressive visual game. You might actually like the art style. The art style is quite different. Also with the cutscenes that aren't really, they're not cutscenes, but they're more like stop motion, like a hand-drawn feel, which I actually enjoyed. I thought that was pretty cool. Another thing I did like about this game visually is the lack of stuff on screen. There is not a whole lot of stuff on screen that kind of detracts from the feel of the game. it really pulls from like a Dead Space, to where instead of having a whole UI bar somewhere up in the corner for like your flashlight gauge, you can see it right there on your backpack. And I thought that was a little nice subtle hint to show you things that you need to know, but also not to detract from the horror feel of the game and those tense moments. As for replayability, there is a little bit in this game. If you're someone who actually goes out and tries to get all the achievements on these games, you will have to replay this one 3 times, as there are different endings depending on how you do throughout the game. Everything else though, you can do in one playthrough, and I was able to do that, and it took me about 8 hours, and I ended up getting the best possible ending. But that does not unlock the other 2 endings for you, so you would have to play the game 3 times in order to get each ending if you were looking to 100% complete the game.
All right, so I hope that review actually helped you out. Maybe if you were teetering on if you wanted to purchase the game or not, if you're not a current pro subscriber on Stadia. To be honest, like I said earlier, I believe $30 is too much for the game. It's a really good game. It's not $30 worth, and it's not because of the content of the game or like what they give you. It's not that long. It does have some replayability. Like I said, there's multiple endings and things like that. Also, if you're into getting achievements, there's a couple things you might want to go back and do if you didn't get a chance to do them on the first time through. So for about a 6 to 8 hour game, I just can't justify paying $30 for that. Like I said, visually looks great, but just due to the lack of length, it's just not worth $30. So, but if you are a pro subscriber and you got this game for free like I did, then I can I can implore you, please play this game if you haven't played it, because it's really good. It definitely keeps you engaged, and it's actually really intense. And you wouldn't think it would be that intense looking at it at the beginning, but they do a good job of actually keeping you, like I said, keeping you engaged and making you feel that tension that Sally is actually going through. So kudos to them on that. And that's going to wrap up the review for Gylt. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like the video. And if you like the video, then also subscribe to the channel. If you feel like I missed anything, or just, want to send some shout outs or whatever you want to do, just put it down in the comments. We can definitely take a look at that and engage any conversation or debate you may have about the game or about the channel as a whole. I mean, either way, any feedback is always greatly appreciated. But yeah, with that, I mean, that's it. I'm out. So go do things you like to do. Go do stuff. That might be my new thing. I might say that at the end every time. I'm not, because I'm going to forget it next time. But anyway, I'm out. Peace.